Hi all, welcome to Sustainable Fashion Pills, a podcast produced for the European Erasmus Plus project Sustainability, Fashion and Employability Skills, during a 3-year period from 2020 to 2023.
Hello, I'm Melina Colescas from the EDEC Business School in France, and I'm with Maria José. Hi!
Hello, Melina. I'm Maria José, student of the Universidad Politécnica of Valencia in Spain. We are part of the European project SFES, which promotes the sustainable practices in the fashion industry.
Today we are going to talk about the impact of sustainable actions with our special guest, Aileen Stewart, which is a lecturer at Glasgow Caledonian University, specializing in fashion branding, production and supply chain. Hello, Aileen.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me today.
Can you talk to us about unsustainable action that most of the companies are practicing and give some examples that are very alarming?
Thank you. Yes, there's a lot of unsustainable practices that go on within fashion production, and we can see this most notably in the Rana Plaza disaster that happened in 2013. Just to explain, the Rana Plaza disaster was somewhere that happened in Bangladesh, where we had a number of fashion factories being built upon factory without any architectural structure, and sadly there was a collapse resulting in many deaths within that area. The industry has learned a lot from that disaster, thankfully, although there are still a lot of unsustainable practices that go on within the structure of fashion production. But also within the structure of fashion production, we see the actual fashion production of the garments being unsustainable. So, for example, denim production is very unsustainable as it has a lot of water usage, resulting in things from stonewashing and distressing, and we look to see how we can make that more sustainable.
What actions these companies can implement or what practice it can change to reduce the negative impact?
Okay, yes, there's a lot of things that companies can do and a lot of things that companies are doing. So in terms of sustainability, obviously we know that there's 3 key areas. So we have environmental factors, we've got social factors, it looks at things like employee welfare, and we have economic factors. And those 3 key elements come together to make sustainability. As I said, the Rana Plaza disaster was something that we don't want to see in the industry again. So companies, the big fashion brands, can be looking at using manufacturers that are moving away from these practices, that are looking after their workforce, the welfare of them, that are looking after their rights as well, that are also using factories that are sustainable and sustainably built, as well as the creation of the garments too. So if we look at the denim production, looking at using different techniques, so moving away from the use of water to using more sustainable distressing techniques, using the use of lasers, etc.
Okay, thank you, Aileen. And that is my last question. What skills are required to face all those challenges?
So the skills that are really required is that it's a combination of the big, large fashion brands coming together with the manufacturers and them combining their knowledge and their skills, looking at how they create factories, making them sustainable, using things like more sustainable energy sources, so using solar power, given that fashion production predominantly comes from Asia, if we're looking at the sort of Western markets, but then in America, you're looking at their sort of lower cost manufacturing coming from South America, all very warm places that has lots of sunshine, so using solar to create more sustainable energy use for the factories. And then again, if we look at the social factors, that the factories will then create a much more sound welfare practices for their staff. And then if we look at an economic factor, that they're going to reinvest their profits back into sustainable practices, making production of clothing much more economical, much more socially inclusive, and again that we're getting all those sustainable factors together.
Thank you for replying our questions. It was very interesting. We look forward to talk with you again about the sustainable fashion industry, to know more about it.
Yes, thank you, Aileen, and thank you everyone for listening to us. We learned a lot of things and we hope you too. See you next time for another podcast. Bye!
This SFES project is coordinated by Glasgow Caledonian University, and it involves other academic partners such as Universidad Villanueva in Madrid, Universidad Politécnica in Valencia, EDHEC Business School in France, and Universidad de Madeira in Portugal. It also includes industry partners such as Harris Street Beverages, the Textile Group, and the fashion conglomerate Tendern Group in Spain. The objective is to improve employability and entrepreneurship skills in the fashion sector around sustainability and to broaden knowledge for academia, companies, and fundamentally for students involved in the project.